invite our second speaker, Dr. Zamir Gulzar. Dr. Zamir Gulzar is an assistant in the Department of Computer Science and Artificial Intelligence in SR University, Warangal. He has received his PhD Computer Science from B.S. Abdul Rahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology, Chennai in February 2019. He has 7 years of experience in teaching and has published more than 20 papers in international journals. He also presented 20 in international national conference and attended several workshops. He has edited a book, a special issue in a journal, and also has 2 patents in his credit. He is serving as an associate editor in IJICTE and reviewer in various other reputed journals. His research areas include e-learning, artificial intelligence, healthcare, and ontology-based applications. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Zamir to take this floor. Dr. Zamir, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can, Doctor?
Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, Doctor.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It was nice to hear Dr. Balakrishnan, sir. As he rightly said that it's yes, ma'am. Am I audible? Is screen visible? Is everything okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Okay. So as Dr. Balakrishnan rightly said that your research is not about how many papers you have published and all, okay? The outcome of your research, either it should be a model or it should be uh, an algorithm, for example, if we talk about it from the engineering point of view, okay, or any new thing which you can dedicate to your research community, okay. But as we know from we are from a developing country, okay, and we are having laws also with respect to the publication and all. Right now, as of now, UGC has set so many conditions for your thesis and for your publication part also that we are going to discuss. Okay, I'll be talking about mostly on the plagiarism issue. And if you are having any query related to publication also, because I'm serving as an associate of this editor, reviewer, and all those things, so I know actually what journals they actually want from the author. Okay, so I'll be taking questions from the publications, and I'll be discussing purely on the plagiarism today. I can share my PPT also later on. I have divided my PPT into 2 parts because it was difficult to upload it. It's more than 150 slides are there. Okay, so I'll be directly going to the plagiarism portion of my presentation. So when we talk about the terminology of plagiarism, it's actually a Latin word from the plagiarist. It means you are kidnapping someone. You are kidnapping someone's ideas. You are kidnapping someone's thoughts. You are kidnapping if somebody has written anything. You are trying to make it your own. Okay, this is what comes. This is what comes under the plagiarism. Okay. If we see from the terminology point of the act of stealing someone else's work, it's not about work only. Even if you are stealing somebody's idea also. I'll show you so many examples in the coming slides. Okay, you'll be shocked that whether this also will come in plagiarism or not. So you have to be very careful while writing your manuscripts, while writing your thesis. Okay, I'll be telling you the UGC criteria for that also. Okay, if you are from India, I don't know about other parts of the world, but as far as ethics is concerned, your manuscript or your thesis, it should be free from plagiarism. Okay, it cannot be 100%. Okay, that the similarity report cannot be 100%. It won't be 0%. Okay, here in India we have that a benchmark of 10%. I'll be discussing that with you also. Okay. The main problem is that when you are trying to steal someone's work and you are just passing it off as if it is your work. Okay, whether it's a published work, whether it's unpublished work, whether in the form of a manuscript, in the form of a book, okay, or in the form of any printed material. Okay, so people are saying it's not a crime, but nowadays, if you see, everybody is talking about, people are now aware, they are talking about copyright. Okay, they're talking about copyright. If you see in entertainment industry, people are talking about that somebody has stole their music. Okay, composition also. Okay, now people are aware. The people are aware of their work. Okay, now you cannot easily, if you want to just to refer to somebody's work, you have to take a proper permission. Okay. Say, for example, this is something written in Chinese. Okay, if you are going to translate the paragraph which is written there, and you want to show it as if it is your own, again, this comes under the plagiarism. Okay, even though you are having the plagiarism softwares, plagiarism checking or similarity checking softwares like Urkund is there or Turnitin is there, and other free source softwares are there. Okay, so anyway, you are going to submit your manuscript or your thesis in English. So you'll be thinking that let me check some Chinese thesis or some other language thesis. Okay, let me convert it into the English part, so I won't be caught. Okay, but this also will come under the plagiarism. Okay, copyright issues, already you are aware of what actually the copyright. We will talk about what is actually the fair use of the copyright. Okay, for example, like let me take an example of a journal like Elsevier or Springer and all. For example, if you are writing a book chapter and if you are quoting any particular image, okay, the Elsevier people, they'll ask you that whether you are having the prior permission, either if you have to give a citation to that image, that I have taken this image from this particular paper. If you don't have, if that image is not printed or if it is not available online, then you have to take a proper permission from the author. They'll ask you whether there is any copyright issue or not. You have to give them written, okay, while you are submitting any manuscript to such kind of journal. Okay, you have to give written that there is no copyright issue, there is no conflict of interest. All those things will be taken care. Okay, and today I'll tell you one more new thing. Okay, which will adapt to this plagiarism issue. I'll tell you. I'll show you one screenshot also. Okay, I'll give you a link also so that you'll be aware of all those things. Here actually there are no specific number of words and lines and notes that may be safely taken without permission. Let us take an example of a math thesis or a math paper. You know, in math there are so many theorems, so many terminologies, which you cannot avoid. You have to write them yourself. Okay, and we will be discussing that then how to avoid such things. There are some scholars or researchers. They are actually trying to rewrite those things. Okay, but there are at times there are situations when you cannot do anything. And you cannot change actually a plus b square is equal to a square plus b square is equal to 2ab plus 2ab or minus 2ab, whatever the formulas are. You cannot change it. You have to write it as such. And when you are checking, when you are having a lot of formulas, lot of equations, lot of terms in your thesis, and you are submitting your thesis to a plagiarism software in order to check the similarity report, surely these kind of things will be caught with that software, and it will be showing you these are the similar words. Okay, we have to discuss upon that also, that whether the government is fair by restricting the maximum percentage of similarity index to 10. Okay, as far as UGC, your maximum similarity index should be 10%, not beyond that. And there are separate punishments as far as the papers are concerned or the manuscripts are concerned, which you are sending to the journal for the publication. There are, I'll be discussing those also. I have slides. If you don't have those circulars, I have it with me. I can share it with you. Okay. Now let us see what are the different types of plagiarisms. Okay. I don't know whether you are aware or you are not. Okay, let me show you. This is called the plagiarism of words. Plagiarism of words. When you are simply copying and pasting. When you are reproducing someone else's works and ideas. Okay. That plagiarism is reproduction of someone else's work. And again, you are giving reference also. But you are writing the same thing. Okay. So this is copy paste. So it will also come under the plagiarism. Even if you are giving a little different touch, you can see the incorrect and the correct plagiarism. The first one, the blue one, the highlighted one is the plagiarism because it's the same copy paste. And you can see the second one, which is highlighted in the red. Okay. So we have rewritten that sentence. Okay. That sentence is rewritten by the author and it is giving a references also that I have taken it from an undergraduate course. So you are citing that. Okay, so this is the proper way of writing your manuscript. If you are writing, if you are definitely when you are writing a manuscript or manuscript, you have to give references. You are reading so many papers. Okay, whenever you are seeing this paragraph, I want to read that because it is supporting my idea and all. That time you don't have to copy that paragraph and all. You have to rewrite it. You have to write in your own words. Okay, and you have to give a due credit to the author also by citing him, giving a citation by referring him. You can see the first one is the incorrect one, that is the copy paste one, and the second one you can see at the bottom, that is the right one of writing, correct way of writing a paragraph. Okay, and giving a due citation also to the author. Okay, so with this nobody will object you. Okay, nobody will raise a question on their manuscript. Let us talk about that plagiarism on the structure. You can see I have given two pictures over there. Okay, keep calm and carry on. Stay relaxed and keep going. You can see there's a plagiarism. Okay, you are simply rewording them and maintaining the original theme of that image. Okay, you are doing a small change by instead of writing a keep, you are saying stay. You are instead of writing calm, you are using the synonym relax and all. Okay, this will also come under the plagiarism. Why? Because you are copying my style. Okay, you are copying my image. Similar, you are showing. Okay, you can restructure it. If you can restructure it, you can write in some other way, then it will be yours. Okay. You can see the structure of the sentence is same. And even though it is not being referred also, there is no reference given to it. If reference would have been given to it, then it would have been okay. Okay, but here no reference is given for stay relaxed, then keep going. Okay, so this image will come under plagiarism. Okay, it will be called as a plagiarism of structure. And there is plagiarism of idea. Okay, when you are writing somebody's work, okay, and you are doing some superficial artificial modification, and you are not referring that particular author and giving due credit to him that actually it was his idea and I have added up something to his idea, to his hypothesis, to his model. Okay, let me give you one example. For example, if I am having an architecture diagram and one algorithm we have used there, that algorithm is called SCM algorithm. Okay, and we are getting some results with the help of that SCM algorithm. Okay, and we are showing that this is our result and we are publishing it. Now another person is coming, he is doing the same work. Okay, if he simply will change that algorithm, instead of he will say some other classification algorithm. Okay, he will say, let us say, he will say, I am doing it with k nearest neighbor algorithm. Okay, he can show the result. That won't come under the plagiarism because he is not using the same algorithm. Okay, because two different algorithms can show two different results, and he or she can even show the comparative study also that this same algorithm and obtain structure and get different results. Okay, there can be a comparative study also. Okay, so you cannot force somebody else's work by simply doing certain small modifications, superficial or artificial modification, and show that this is your work. Okay, and without, another point is without giving due credit to the author. Another one is plagiarism of authorship. If you are having some written work, now you can say that online work can be caught, but there are some work, there are some books which are not available online. Okay, let me take those books because I have seen researchers and all, they are using this methodology also. They are taking a printed form of those materials. Okay, and they are replicating the same work into their manuscript because they know this book or manuscript is not available. Mostly they are doing it from the books actually. So they are saying that if it is not available, so the software won't be catching it. Okay, because it's not available online. But again, it will come under the plagiarism because you are replicating others' work, and without giving the credit, you are showing it as your own. There is unintentional plagiarism, but again, it will be called as a plagiarism also because in today's world, whether you have done anything intentionally or unintentionally, okay, it will be called as a plagiarism because you don't have that mechanism so that you will prove yourself that you have not done it unintentionally. Okay, you cannot prove yourself. If you have published a manuscript, now it is online, available online, and I'm finding that you have stolen my work. Okay, I can claim it. Okay, how you are going to convince me that you have not done it unintentionally? Okay, even though you don't know you have done it, because there are so many scholars they don't know about plagiarism. Okay, even faculties also, because they are not having access to the plagiarism checkers, plagiarism the software who can check their manuscript. Okay, that's why we have done so many workshops and giving so many talks in college and all where they don't have access to these things. Okay, so that we can make them aware. Okay, I'm personally giving talks to nearby colleges. Okay, where they don't have these kind of facilities, so that they will be, at least they will be aware because it's a serious issue. Okay, it can take up their career also. Okay, anybody can claim after 10 years also I can claim. Recently, if you see, what is that institute name? I forgot the institute name in India. IMRC or something institute. Even after 20 years, the director, the person is from the Finland, and he has said, actually that she's a lady, that her work has replicated some images. So after 20 years, he has issued a notice to the journal that you should take back their work. Okay, after 20 years also. So it will be like a ghost. Okay, if you are not taking care of this plagiarism, it can haunt you for another future of your next future. Okay, again for next 30 years of your life. Okay, as long as you are working, it will be like a ghost over there. So anybody can claim work. If anybody will find that you have stolen their idea, they can claim it. So you have to be very, very careful while writing the plagiarism, while writing the manuscript. Okay, and you should study a lot. Okay, at least you have to study about the plagiarism, that how you should avoid and all. I can share my PPTs also. I have given some tips and tricks also. And there is one more thing that's called the self-plagiarism. Self-plagiarism is like that if you have published a paper, okay, and now you are writing another manuscript, okay, you are trying to copy your work from the previous publication also. But you are not, you are giving even the citation also. Okay, so you have already written something, there is no need to write it again. But many researchers are doing it. Okay, many researchers are doing it. Okay, and they are giving citations to their own work. Okay, again it will be called as a self-plagiarism. Okay. Now let me take you to the UGC mode. Okay, you can see the circular has been published in 2018. They are also mentioning what actually the plagiarism is, that when you are taking someone else's work, idea and passing them as of your own. Now they have given different similarities. So you have to be cautious about the first one, the level 0 similarity, that is 10%. Whether it's your thesis, whether it's your manuscript, okay, you have to be, your manuscript or the thesis should have a similarity report less than 10% or maximum 10. Okay. Try to have it less than 10%. So there is no penalty up to 10%. You can see this is UGC. Okay, this is not a small body. Okay, UGC is there. Okay. Now you can see the similarity. If it is above 10% and up to 20%, the student will be asked to revise the manuscript. Okay, and they cannot submit the same manuscript for the next 6 months. And there are not these are not the punishments for the students only. There are punishments for the faculty or the supervisors also. Okay, you can see the similarity of 40 to 60%. Such students will be barred from submitting a revised script for a period of 1 year. If it is above 60%, the registration of a research scholar may be cancelled. Okay, these are the penalties which has been set by your UGC. Okay. Now you can see the penalties for the faculty. Okay. If you go to the third one, similarity above 60%, student will be barred. Okay, what will happen to the faculty? He will be denied for 2 successive annual increments. He shall not be allowed to be a supervisor for the period of 3 years. This is the punishment for faculty. Okay, who will be caught under this plagiarism issue of more than 60%. Okay, we call it similarity actually. And if we see 40 to 60%, you cannot supervise a student for a period of 2 years. This is for the faculty. For students, I have already mentioned. Okay. Now you can, when you are submitting your manuscript, I'll show you the plagiarism software also. When you are submitting your manuscript to a plagiarism checker, any software, whether it is Turnitin or Orkun, I'll tell you which one is better also. Okay. 3 things you can exclude there. Okay. The first one is the quotation work. Okay. If you are from English background or the literature background, sometimes you need a paragraph as such. Okay. But we'll keep that paragraph in quotation. Okay. Which means directly you are saying this is not my paragraph, this is not my work. Somebody else is saying all this. Okay. You don't want to change because you cannot change it. There are some universal rules also. Okay. You want to keep it as such. Okay, so you are keeping those things in quotations. Okay, all those things which are in quotations you can exclude while checking the plagiarism. Okay, that won't come under the plagiarism. So if you are excluding it, so your plagiarism software won't be showing this portion like a paragraph if it is in quotation. Okay, as a similarity. Okay, and the second thing is the references. You can exclude the references. Okay, but my suggestion is when you are checking a software, when you are checking plagiarism for your manuscript or for your thesis, you should submit it without references. So that's true. Okay, so if you don't know it by anyhow, if you are submitting your manuscript with the references also, okay, there's a checkbox over there. You can mark that checkbox. Click. Okay, so it will not take your references and bibliography in similarity report. Okay. Better is if you have an access to a software or if you are giving to somebody else. I'll tell you the problem for giving a software to this paper to another person for checking. Okay, I'll tell you the consequences also what will happen. Okay, so you should be using your own sources. If you are working in your institute, you should try to use your own institute software. Okay, I'll be telling you the problem also if you are checking your software from other institutes also. Again, there's a problem also. Okay, so that is unknowingly people are doing. I'll tell you what actually will happen if you are checking your manuscript in another institute. If you don't have a plagiarism software. Okay, so better is you send your manuscript or the thesis without reference. Okay, you can make 2 copies, one copy is full of references, another without references. So you can upload it in this software. Okay, then there is no need to exclude. Okay, and there are some generic terms. I told you there are mathematical terms and all. Laws are there, standard symbols and the standard equations that we can exclude. Apart from that, you can see here it is being shown up to 14 consecutive words. I'm moving my cursor over there. If you can see, my cursor is there. Okay, up to 14 words. If there are some consecutive 14 words, you can exclude those 14 words also, not more than that. Okay, there is one more option in the Turnitin also. You can exclude one person. But here, if you go as per the UGC guidelines, okay, nothing is written there that you can exclude one person. And there are similarity which is less than one person. That also you cannot exclude. Okay, so better is you should always give 14 words over here. Okay, while checking, if you have seen the software, I'll show you the screenshots also of that software. Okay, so 14 consecutive words, if they are matching with online material, those 14 words we can exclude. Okay, so you are having four things to exclude. One is your quotation work, one is the references. Better not to put references while checking the plagiarism, and the generic terms and the symbols, and 14 consecutive words. Okay, this is what you can do while you can exclude while checking the plagiarism for your paper. Okay. See, these are the risks involved in paper, this having a plagiarism. And people will come to know that you have done your reputation is on the stake. Okay, so many things are there. Your dissertation will not be accepted. You can be expelled from the university. Okay, I have seen all these things. Even if you see there is a university, last time Pondicherry University, few years back, there was an issue with one vice chancellor over there with respect to plagiarism. In Chennai also there was one issue with the, in many parts of the country there was issue related with these things. Okay, so that time they have to they were not giving that proper position, that particular position. Okay, because there was a complaint regarding their work with respect to the plagiarism. Okay, you can lose a job also. Okay, you can be expelled from the organization because actually the organization reputation is on the stake. Okay, so that time organization want you to publish papers and all. Okay, but when there is a problem, so they'll throw you out. So how we can avoid a plagiarism when we are writing the manuscript? And if you are writing in English, definitely there will be similarity of words. Okay, how to avoid that? I'll be uploading one more presentation. Okay, give me a moment.
Thank you, Mr. Zamir. Thank you, Dr. Zamir. Very good.
Actually, my presentation was it was like more than 150 slides, so I have divided into two parts so that it will be easily uploaded. Okay, how to avoid the plagiarism? So the best methods are you have to be honest with your research. That's the first part you have to do, and you have to give a due credit to your. Okay, there you have got ideas and all. Okay, so you have to give credit to them. Okay, acknowledgement. Use your work and you can give a, because I already told you I have seen English people are there. Okay, they have to use a lot of quotation, but you cannot use. There will be limit on using the quotation work also. Okay, we won't be talking about these slides and this citation types and all. Okay, I'm having one. Let us see this. When you don't give any citation, when you don't put quotation marks, okay, what actually a reader will think? Okay, you are actually giving a message to a reader that this work belongs to you. Okay, you have written this. This is your idea. Okay, you are passing this information actually the reader. You can see I have given one example also. The link between the cell phone use and the grade point average need further investigation. You are not doing anything over there. You are not giving reference. Okay, it means the sentence is your own sentence. Okay, while reading this thing, if you are reading it over there, you might be thinking I have written it. Okay, which is not. If you are doing like this, okay, so you are giving an impression to a reader that this is your work. Okay, this is your idea. What you can actually do, you can write the survey results found that the cell phone use is negative predictive of overall grade point average. and you can give a due credit to the author also. You can see quotation words are also there. Okay, negative predictive of overall grade. Okay. If you see the previous example, it looked like as if I have written. Right now I'm talking to you, it looked like to you as if I have written this sentence. Okay, but actually the owner of the sentence is somebody else. It is Winky. The paper has been published in 2019. You have to give citation like this, and depend on which kind of citation this you are using, whether it's MLA, whether it's APA, or any other citation style. Okay, and you can see the quotation marks are also there. Okay, so if anybody will read it, at the end of reading the sentence, they will be thinking, okay, this has been written by Winky. You can see one more example is there. Now you can see whether this is plagiarism. Can you tell me whether this is plagiarism or not? The journal article is actually the experimental results show that the proposed effect of packet loss, concealment, or algorithm. Okay, now I am rewriting this sentence. Can you tell me whether it will come under plagiarism or not? Anyone over there?
Reduces the packet drop ratio is copied as it is from there till buffer size.
So,
Rest
so
all
it will come under.
recreated.
I'm simply rewriting the sentence because I'm not giving any citation or I have not used any quotation also.
Yeah, and
Reduce the
secondly,
packet drop
reference
and
is also
all
not
these
given.
things. I keep it under. Yeah, correct. So this is plagiarism. You are not giving citation, and you are giving an impression that this sentence has been written by me and it is my research. You can see Zamni research on packet loss function. Okay, so this will come under the plagiarism. Okay, so you should avoid these kind of things. You have to give a proper put it here. Reduce the packet drop. I can put it in quotes because I don't want to change that sentence. That sentence should be putting. You have to put it in double quotation. Okay, and you have to give a citation also. Now the same thing. I'm rewriting the sentence. Okay, but I'm giving a reference that this has been written by this author. There are some tools actually which you can use for checking the plagiarism online. SEO tool is there, but you should not rely on it 100%. Okay, these are some of the SEO tool is okay, but you can rely like 50% on it. If it is showing 10% plagiarism, then you should say that your paper is having more than 30 to 40% plagiarism because they are open source. You are not paying for them. Okay, so they won't tell you the exact this similarity. So if SEO tool is good, if you are at initial stage of using any plagiarism software, this SEO tool, online tool is very nice, good tool. Okay, but you should not rely on it 100%. Okay, if you have completed your manuscript, you can check in this SEO tool. If it is showing you plagiarism 20%, so you should think that your plagiarism is between 40 to 50% actually. Now, what is there? Okay, you might have come across these things today. These are called the tortured phrases. These are called tortured phrases. Okay, tortured phrase is on your left side, and the correct word expected is on your right side. So we are having a terminology that's called the deep neural network. We call it DNN, deep neural network. But in your there is an author who is writing the same thing. He is saying profound neural organization. Neural organization. What is the need if deep neural network is such a famous term? What is the need to write different terminology for DNN? Another one is artificial neural network. Everybody knows it. You might have heard this. Now what they are writing? Counterfeit neural organization. versatile organization, mobile network, organization association, network association. On the right hand side, you are seeing the actual term. Now, what actually authors are doing, okay, they are actually trying to hide. They are playing hide and seek. If you see workflow engine, you might have heard this thing, word processor. Okay, they have replaced this workflow engine with the word process monitor. So what is the need of doing all this? This is what actually the job of the reviewers is there. Okay, so this is a new thing right now. It's coming into the market. Okay, people are doing changes. See this face recognition. It's a simple terminology. It's very famous terminology. You are using your mobile. You are having a facial recognition system there in order to open your system. You are having a finger touch option there. You cannot replace such words in your manuscript. If you are doing so, it means you are having wrong intentions. Okay, either you are copying somebody's work, okay, and showing it that it is your own. Okay, otherwise, mean square error is there. Random access, arbitrary. So there is no need to change these terminology. Central processing unit, you might have heard in your system or in your lab. Focal preparing unit. Okay, I'll be giving you a link. I'll be sharing a link at the end where you can find all these things. Okay, so this is new in the market where actually there's a software who will tell you in this paper how many tortured phrases are using. They call it tortured phrases. Okay, artificial neural network. I think everybody might have heard it. Artificial neural network. There is no need to replace this word. Okay, it's writing over here say for counterfeit neural condition. So it means you are copying somebody's work. That's why you are changing all these words. If, for example, there's a paper on breast cancer detection using machine learning. Somebody has written that bosom malignant detection using machine learning. So there is no need of changing these common words. So it means you are having wrong intentions. Either your work is you have copied your work, okay, or plagiarism is there. Okay, I'll show you. You can go through it. You will be coming to know what actually is happening in the market right now. So I'll be showing you one software that is called the Turnitin. Okay, if you say UGC or the government universities, they are distributing a software called Urkund. So if you have come across Urkund, my suggestion is that you should not rely on Urkund also. The reason is that I was checking on Thesis on the Urkund software, and the plagiarism was about 8%, 7 to 8%. So I thought, okay, it's very good. Even I told that the person also that your thesis is okay because it's coming below 10, so you can submit your thesis. Then I had a doubt. I told him, okay, let me check it in Turnitin also. Then when I checked with the Turnitin, so the same thesis, I checked in Turnitin, the plagiarism was showing 38%. It means Turnitin is having more power to check the similarity. Turnitin is having. So if you are using Urkund, if you have Urkund access, okay, so you should try to avoid it. Okay, try to go with the Turnitin also. Because I told you it will be a ghost which will haunt you throughout your career. Okay, what actually the Turnitin will look like? It's actually a commercial software. Okay, it's a paid software. If you have access to Turnitin also in your institutes and all, I'll tell you actually how you should set your manuscripts for the plagiarism over there. Okay. So if, for example, you are in department A, they will be your institute will be having an account for the department A. If they don't have an account for every department. If there's a particular place where you can check the plagiarism over there, while checking the plagiarism, you can see how actually the report will come. 7, 11, because as per the Turnitin, up to 25%, it will show green. Green means okay. But when we talk about the UGC is asking you to have your plagiarism less than 10. Okay. So This green is because Turnitin is having a 25% green signal. After that, there will be another orange, then yellow, and then red. When you submit your plagiarism software to the Turnitin, it is actually searching your manuscript or thesis in these four places. It will search the whole internet. It will check the student papers which are submitted to Turnitin also. Turnitin is having its own database. It will be checked there also. It will be checked in the journals, periodicals, and the publications. And there is an I group, okay, where all papers are submitted. It will be searched there. So these are the four sources where your paper will be compared, where your thesis will be compared. Okay, I don't know in Orkun how many sources they are checking. That's why it's showing less number of percentage. My suggestion is you should go with the Turnitin. So this is how you will upload in a Turnitin. First name, second name, then you can choose from a computer you are giving. I'll give you one example. I have uploaded this paper over there, and I'm trying to make it confirm that when your paper will be uploaded, it will be shown over there. The first impression will be like uploading your paper over there. So once you will get a view of your paper, you can put. Now you can see here one important thing is over here. You will get assignment title is there, submission title is there, file name is there, file size is there, page count, word count is there. The word count is actually very important because Turnitin is checking the similarity based on the word similarity. Total number of similar words divided by the total count, 6877. Then it will be like this, and you have to go to the submission button. Then you can see you have to wait for some time. You have to wait for some time so that your report will be generated. This is called similarity report. Nobody is giving you, highlighting you here your paper that it is a plagiarized paper and all. It will be showing similarity. You can see one paper ID is also there. And this paper ID is must. You have to keep it safe. I'll tell you why. What is the need? Because without having a proper knowledge of using the software, you should not use it. You can see after the report is generated, now it is showing 99% similarity. That is why it is showing a red signal. Up to 25, there will be green signal. Up to 40%, there will be orange. Then up to 90, there will be yellow. And then after, there will be a red signal over there. You can directly delete paper from here. Okay. If you are thinking that after deleting this paper, it is getting deleted permanently, then you are wrong. Okay. If you are new to Turnitin, or even if you have seen, because many people don't know this, even after using the Turnitin also. So this is wrong. You should, because this paper will be available in the Turnitin database in their repository. So when you next time, if you are, for example, if your paper is showing 10% similarity, now you are deleting it from your main inbox. But your paper is still there in the Turnitin repository. Next time, if you are uploading the same paper, if you are doing editing something in order to reduce some 1 or 2% plagiarism, again you are checking. Second time when you are uploading your paper, Turnitin will catch it from the database. Your own paper is there, and it will show you 100% similarity. Why? Because your paper is already there. When you are submitting the new paper, it is checking first in its own database, so the similarity will come. Okay, and you cannot prove that this is your paper also, unless and until you have to remove. You have to request to the Turnitin. You have to write a mail. Please remove this ID. If you don't have ID, then you are gone. They cannot remove it. Okay. So I'll tell you what actually you should do while uploading the paper in the Turnitin also, in order to avoid, if you are using Turnitin second time, third time, and the fourth time also, for reducing your, after reducing your plagiarism, after editing your paper, if you are checking the second, third, and fourth time also, it will not catch it. Okay, because your paper won't be saved in the repository. So I'll tell you what setting we should do so that your paper is not saved in the Turnitin repository. Okay. This is how similarity will look. It will highlight, the Turnitin will highlight the text which is similar with the online content, wherever it is checking. I have shown you those four things where it will check your similarity. You can see on the right hand side, the sources are also given. Okay. It will be highlighted. There will be different colors. Okay. If what to say? If you have copied from a particular source and its percentage is more, that will be highlighted in red. Then the second number will be blue, third will be like that. Okay, different. You can see here percentage 1% is there, less than 1% is also there. Okay. Now I have already told you that you can exclude those three things. You can see here on the right hand side, filters are there. There are checkbox also. You can exclude the quotation. You can exclude the bibliography. You can exclude the sources that are less than. Okay. We are saying do not exclude. The first option is words. There we can write, there's a box, one small box is here where I kept my cursor. One small box is there. You can write 14 words over there because UGC is already telling you if you are having 14 consecutive words which are similar, you can exclude them. Okay, so these are the four things which you can exclude: quotations, bibliography, and those 14 words. Okay, after reducing, excluding them, your similarity may be a little bit less. It will show you. You can see I have removed those things. Now you can see my similarity has reduced to 69%. Okay, I have excluded quotations, I have excluded bibliography, I have excluded 14 words. Okay, so my original similarity was 99. After excluding those things, because UGC is permitting you, so now your similarity is reduced to 69%. So you can download this report also. So when you download this report, your name will come over there, which you have written at the time of submission, and the similarity report will be generated like this. It will tell you similarity. Similarity is 99%. 99 from the internet sources, 77% from the publications, 66 from the student papers. Okay. Here you can see at the bottom, exclude quotations off, bibliography off, exclude match off. When you check those boxes, and your similarity report will be showing here 69%. Okay, here it will show exclude quotations on, bibliography on, exclude match on. Okay, so from this note also we'll come to know that you have not excluded those things. That's why it is showing similarity of 99. Okay, you can see it will tell you the papers also where you can see the first one, 11% from that particular source, 5% from another source. So Turnitin will give different colors to those sources to highlight them. This highlighted text means it's all plagiarized. It is all similar. It's already available. Now you can see I have given another paper. I tried to check the similarity, plagiarism for this. You can see it is showing 8% similarity. So there is no need to do anything with this paper. You simply download it. This paper you can submit to any journal because it is less than 10. You can keep this report with you because if anybody will ask you this report, you can show this report. Now actually I'll tell you how you can escape the Turnitin database. Like if you are submitting your paper first time to the Turnitin, it should not be stored in your repository because second time also you have to check. If you are submitting it second time, it will be again checked with the Turnitin database itself. So if a paper is not there, no similarity will be generated from your own paper. Okay. So we have one setting over there that's called no repository. Here you can see there is some additional setting over here. There is some additional setting over here. In this additional setting, we'll be going with the optional setting. Okay, we'll be going with the optional setting. In optional settings, where is this option? You can see so many options are there. Allow submission after the due date, similarity, generate the similarity report, exclude bibliography. So in my Turnitin, I have already said that even if references are there, the system should exclude that. You can see here, I'm putting my cursor over there. You can see here, submit papers to no repository. Okay, if you choose this option, your paper or thesis will not be stored in Turnitin. Okay, it will not be stored in Turnitin, and it will be checked here. It will not be stored in Turnitin, and it will be checked with these four options. Okay, you can see here the first option is student paper repository. Student paper repository is itself a Turnitin repository. When you are saying no repository, it means your thesis or the paper will not be stored in the Turnitin database, and next time you can easily again submit it one more time. You can submit it multiple number of times. Okay, and without having a fear that I will get my own similarity report also. Okay, if your paper is in repository, because it is checking with the student repository itself, it will show your own paper similarity. 100% will be there with your own paper. Okay, then in that case you have to write a letter to the Turnitin giving the paper ID. Okay, so you are in issue. Then they will remove it. It takes a lot of time. Okay, so better is to make a setting so that this paper will not be going to the repository, and without any problem next time also you can submit your paper, okay, as many as times you want. So this setting is must, that submit paper to no repository. There are other options also there, but this is one you have to use. We can generate a report also like this. I'll be showing you my presentation with respect to this is over, but I'll show you one thing which is very important. So this is the website I'm talking about. Okay, problematic paper screener. Okay, here this website will tell you so many options are there. If you can use, you can find so many, because it's a hot topic now. Okay, you can see the date from the past 1 year. People are talking about all these things. Tortured sentences. I have shared you tortured sentences. Okay, I'll show you the example also. Okay. You can see this is the article, the first article from Springer, and the journal is this. The title of the paper is this. Citation is this. You can see cited problematic papers. Okay, if you go to those problematic papers, if you click at problematic paper, you can see here. You can see in that problematic paper the fingerprint and the expected text. Affiliation rule mining. Okay, affiliation rule mining. Actually, the correct word is affiliation rule mining. Okay, backing vector machine. It is actually support vector machine. It's a very famous algorithm. Fluffy rational. It is fuzzy logic. Then another, it's actually a naive bias. Uphold vector machine, support vector machine. I'll show you one more. I have already checked. You can see here various grammar information. You can see here various grammar information. This will probably be the last step. Here you can see actuation function. It's actually an activation function in neural network. Okay. Similarly, you can find a lot of these things. If you want to check out all these things, I'll share its link in the chat box, so you can. Right now my chat is off. I'll show you. I'll send it in the chat box. So if you want to use it, you can go through this, and you can learn a lot of things over there. Okay. Thank you for your patience. If you are having any questions, please, I'll be happy to answer. Hello.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, ma'am. Is there any query, ma'am?
So far, I think no one has question, doctor. Participants, do you have any questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Actually, two questions. So one is like we are saying that the plagiarism accepted is up to 40% with review and maybe up to 10%. So it's okay. So actually, in one of the theses, so the candidate got a plagiarism of 33%, and actually the university has called for a major panel review, and they could not understand how thesis can be written with 3% plagiarism, and so the head started rolling because it was quite unlikely that somebody can write with 3%. So, this is actually the trend that we are having, that it cannot be written without plagiarism. So that is part one.
Yes, sir.
Part two is I see,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I see a lot of articles, and when I see the articles, I find it very easy, and I think I can write. The moment I start, I am not able to uh, actually get the ideas together and write it. So these are the two things that I wanted to discuss.
Sir, can you repeat your second question?
So I think of writing articles, but when it comes to writing, actually actual writing, so I am not able to gather the ideas and put it up. I'm looking at plagiarism. I have written one article where I got 3%, and I was talking about my incident only. So the other part is when I refer articles, I tend to get carried away, and I tend to get inspired with the article. So how do we counter it?
Okay, okay.
Okay,
Sir,
okay.
coming to your
Sir,
first
coming
part
to your
where
first part,
the student was
student
having
was having
1 second, sir. One minute.
1 minute.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think there is little bit echo.
So coming to the first part, sir, where you are saying that the student got 3% of the plagiarism. So that's why I have shown you this website right now, which is using the tortured words. What that student might be doing, he might be rewriting the sentences and again checking the thesis with the plagiarism software. And if he has written his own words, I don't think there is a problem if he's having 3 to 4% plagiarism. There is no issue in that. Anyway, when there is a guideline that your plagiarism report, it is not about plagiarism, the similarity. If your similarity report should be less than 10, I don't think there's a harm. If it is having 3, 4, 5, 6, there are some software also where you can rewrite sentences also. Like if you can go with the killbot, is there, you can rewrite sentences over there. That's what actually people are doing. They are simply rewriting it, sir. And coming to the second part, you said you want to write one article. If you don't have how to write an article and all those things, what people in that situation they should do? They might be having one idea that I want to do this and that. Better to write in an abstract form. Normally, there are authors who are writing abstract at the end, but the majority of the authors, they are writing the abstract
at first itself. They're writing the abstract, then they are starting other work like introduction, literature review, and all. It depends on the field also. I have seen people from the physics background. They are writing after their experimentations and all. They are writing abstract at the end of writing the manuscript. Okay, but in other fields, it's not possible to write the abstract at the end. So what normally we are doing, we are writing abstract at the beginning itself, and then based on that abstract, we are structuring our manuscript in terms of introduction and in terms of literature review and our methodologies, then the conclusion and all. And if you want to reduce the plagiarism, that's what I told. That's what Balakrishnan sir told, that it's not about the publication only. What actually new you are giving to the research community, actually that matters. Okay. But here, if you see in every university, faculties are being forced that you should publish papers, you should publish two papers, SCI journals and all. They don't know, even if SCI journal, they will take, for review itself, they will take 3 to 4 months. So how it is possible to publish a paper within 6 months? Okay, so instead of checking the quality, they are going for the quantity only. So that's why here these news you'll get that plagiarism is there and all. Okay, just a week ago I was asking my director of publication that here people in my university, they are simply going for the conferences and all. Okay, then he thought, I said, if you go through your data, your 80% of the publication is from the conferences. That is totally waste. Okay, why you are allowing so many conferences over there? Faculty should concern on good publication, even if it is one in a year. So here by force, or I don't know what culture is getting developed here in India, even though we are having the outsourcing companies also, they'll call you that, sir, if you want any paper to be written, we'll charge you this much and all. Okay. So this is a problematic situation right now, and why UGC has taken this decision of 10% and all, I'll tell you one thing. I don't know whether you have heard this news or not. There was one company who was running from, I don't want to mention the state and all, from two rooms. I think only one room was there. They are running 1,500 journals from that single room. That was an organization. And all over the world, they are running 1,500 journals from one single room. They have earned millions and millions. So when UGC came to know that, after that, these decisions were taken. So it happened around in 2016-17. So if you see the notification from the UGC, it is from 2018. So in order to curb those things, so they have to take tough decisions. I think I hope I have answered your question, sir. Mr. Harun has raised.
Hello, please can I ask my question?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So I'm Harun Ibrahim, a medical practitioner from Ghana. I would like to thank Dr. Zamel for very insightful presentation. Yes, very in-depth presentation. We appreciate your presentation. As an aspiring what do you call them, master's student, I am here to do my master's in Europe, which I'm preparing towards that, and I'm happy for this rich knowledge because plagiarism is unacceptable across the world. I mean, scholars, academicians, they frown on it because it's a lazy way of working. As a master student, aspiring master student, how can you help me to be able to get this software? Because I need to do it and cross-check my work to make sure that I am not plagiarizing anybody's work. Though I'm going to follow your footsteps, but how can you help some of us who don't have access to those softwares to have access to them so that we can do our cross-check before we even submit our work to our supervisors? Thank you.
Okay.
See, Ibrahim raised a good question. Actually, in my talk also, I mentioned that we should not check our manuscript with others. What is the reason? I'll tell you one story. Last year, what happened? I checked the plagiarism of a person from my own university. He was a scholar. So it was like 30%. I told him you are getting 30%. You try to reduce it and all. So after he worked on that thesis for more than 3 to 4 months, now he thought now I think he has reduced the plagiarism. But that time he was in Gujarat. Okay, he was a student in Chennai in one of the institutes. Okay, so from the institute itself they have checked the plagiarism. Now he was in Gujarat that time. He thought I have worked. Let me check. He was having a friend in one institution in Gujarat. So he checked the plagiarism over there. So it was showing 9%. Okay, fine. So next day he landed into Chennai and he called me. He said, I got the 11% result. I said, you are in Gujarat, where you checked? He said, I checked it with my friend in his institutions. I said, you directly go to our library and you give it to the librarian, he will check it over there in his own institute where he is a research scholar. There it is showing 40%. Okay, now he got confused. Yesterday it was showing 7% or 8%. How it is showing 40% right now? I said there is what mistake you have done. Actually, it is showing you 35 percentage. The source is the Gujarat in one university in the Gujarat. Okay, so that person I told him what actually I've shown you in the Turnitin that no repository we should choose. It will not be stored in the repository. Turnitin repository. So the people in that particular university in the Gujarat, they might not be knowing this option is available over there. So his friend has simply checked his thesis and it has stored in the repository. Now when he is checking in Chennai, now it will tell him that there is a similarity report, even though it is his own thesis, but it is showing the resource in the Gujarat university that another university name is there. Okay, now I told him you ask that particular person, you go and delete that thesis, you give him I have shown you there's an ID which is being generated after you check the plagiarism. So he has given that paper ID to his friend. He said, better you ask her, you ask your admin to delete it. Now what happened, that friend, he is afraid to tell his boss because his boss will tell him that how you can check thesis of a student who is not ours. That student is from the Chennai. How you can check his thesis in our institution? Okay, that is an important issue. So the end of this story is that he was not able to delete it from that particular repository. Okay, what happened? Again, it took him 3 more months. Again, he has to edit the thesis. Then he has to submit it in the institutions after reducing his own thesis. See, you can see now his thesis is in Gujarat as well as in Chennai, but he cannot. He is in a situation he cannot do anything. Okay, that this thing I forgot. I have already told you. I'll mention you one story. So you should not check your manuscript in other institutions. Okay, as long as that person is a known person and he knows that he will assure you that this thesis will not be or paper will not be submitted to the repository. Otherwise, it's a problem for an institution as well as for a student also, research scholar also. Okay, this is a recent example I am giving you. Okay, so you should be checking it your own institutions, or if it is not available in the institutions, there are centers which are checking this plagiarism also. They'll charge you some 1,000 or 1,500 rupees. They are well aware that they won't store your thesis in their Turnitin repository. They are having licensed software, so they will charge you. Okay, so I thought, Ibrahim, you might got the answer of the question. So you should check the resources. You should check the institutions which can help you over there. Okay, so it is better to
All right,
check
thank
with
you.
your own resources.
All right, thank
And
you.
one more thing, I told you there is SEO tool also. At the beginning, you can go with SEO tool also. Okay, it will also help you to reduce some percentage of the plagiarism. Even though it is showing like 10% only, your thesis or paper might be having 30% or 35, but at least that 10% you will reduce. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Kannan M, please.
Mr. Nishant and Mr. Kannan.
Yes, sir, I have a question.
Yes.
Sir,
Ma'am,
whether
please.
I'm audible to you? Sir, just now
Yeah,
you
yes,
told
yes.
that we have to check. We have to check the plagiarism in our own institution, right, sir? So if we are checking in our own institution
Yes.
and it is there in the repository, and we are sending the paper to
Okay.
the journal, and won't the journal person check it, check our results?
Similarity, you are saying. Okay, I
Won't the
got your
journal,
question, ma'am.
the editors, they
I got your question. You are saying if you are submitting your manuscript, if you are checking in your own institution, and it will be stored in that repository, when you are submitting to the journal, when they will check, okay, it will show more plagiarism to them because your paper is already in the Turnitin. Okay, but it will be showing your university name also. Okay, you have seen, I have shown you those 4 resources. Okay, those resources are called student papers. Okay, so the journal people know when they will check your affiliation on your paper, and then they will check on similarity report. Okay, when they will see the institution name is there, so they'll come to know it is from your own institute. Okay, so you have checked in your own institutions also. Okay, normally why institution people they are not deleting, there is a reason for that also. Okay, if you ask your institution that so we are having a no repository option over there, but they won't do it. Okay, the problem is the actual this point is over there. If for example you have submitted in your institute and it is not in your repository, okay, somebody else can copy that work also in your own institution also. Okay, when they will be checking in your institution itself, like person A and B, okay, if they belong to the same institute, when A is submitting the paper to the Turnitin repository and it is not getting stored over there with no repository option, B might copy some of your text and all, it might check in your same institution. Okay, it won't be caught over there. Okay, nobody will catch him over there at that particular time. So that is the reason mostly university won't be checking this no repository option. Okay, for quite some time, like let us say for 6 months and for 1 year, or like that. Okay, that's why institutions are not doing it. They will keep your record in the repository itself. When journal people will check, almost all journals are not doing this because the reliability is on the author. Okay, if you are sending any manuscript to any institution, any journal, okay, it is not their headache that whether you are having a 90% plagiarism and all. If it is a paid journal, you see, you go through, if it's a free journal, they will immediately check with the software. And if they will catch the similarity, they will check your affiliation also. And in plagiarism, if it is showing the same institution, they'll be knowing that this is the portion which she has submitted to in own institution. That's why it is showing this similarity. Okay, they can delete that much percentage from that institution. Okay, I'm sorry I couldn't actually give a live demo over here. Okay, how to check and how to delete that much if it is your own manuscript, and if it is showing in this similarity, we can delete that portion. The journal people can delete also that portion when they will come to know this is from your own institution. After seeing your affiliation, they can delete that much part. Okay, then the next after reducing that much plagiarism, now the count depends on, for example, for journals it will be like 20%. Other journal it will be like 15%. For other journal it will be like less than 10%. For some journals, overall I will tell you, ma'am, you should not have more than 2% from a particular source. I told you there are 4 sources: journals, periodicals and all, and internet source is there, student paper source is there. From any source you should not have more than 2%, and overall you should not have a 5%. Okay, there are some journals they will see similarity report like this. Okay, hope I have answered the question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Kannan, Nishant.
Good afternoon, sir. I am from India, sir. Hello.
Okay, good evening.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, how can we get the standard software which can ensure us that now we are free from plagiarism. As you have told that Urkund, if Urkund is showing the 8%, but when we check it in the Turnitin, it may show 38% also. But the problem is we cannot purchase a Turnitin for our personal use because it is very, very costlier. But we are having the Urkund as our government is provided us.
Yes, it
So
is.
what we do
Yes,
is
it's provided every
we just check our manuscripts are through Urkund, which is our official plagiarism application, and we submit our thesis or manuscript. So in that case, sir, how can we assure that we now we are in the safe side, sir?
Sir, I have already done this in practical. I have checked it, Urkund and Turnitin. Okay. What you can do if you are having a manuscript, you check it in Urkund and you try to have, you try to check if you are having any friend in another institute, they are having Turnitin, you go and first verify it, whether it is correct or not. Okay, that's the first thing. Second thing is there are online agencies, they are having this Turnitin software. If you want to check your manuscript, they will charge you maybe 300, 400, 500 Indian rupees. Okay, in that case, you will be on the safer side. Or if you are having any friend or if you are having any access to any other institution, you can check it there, but provided it should not be stored in their repository. I gave you the case study also, okay. They won't be able to delete it. For example, if you are having a Turnitin, you are checking your friend's paper, how will you tell your boss to delete the paper? Because simple delete will not delete. Deletion means deleting from the inbox. Another delete is delete from the repository. Without Turnitin, nobody can delete it from the repository. So the authorized person from your institute has to write a letter with the paper ID that please remove these IDs from the Turnitin repository. That will be done by the Turnitin. So how can you tell your boss that I have to, he will ask you the whose paper it is, whose thesis it is. Okay. If that's not the case, then it is okay to check in other institutes. But we should restrain from that. We should be very careful, I must say, checking in other institutions.
Okay, sir. And one more small question, sir. Sir, if I am taking two thoughts from the two authors, from two different papers, so whether I should, and I am combining both thought in a single statement, then in the citation, I have to place the both references, sir. Because
Sir,
now I
I'll
am
tell you one
constructing
example.
Sir.
Okay, I got your question. I'll tell you in terms of engineering, I am using algorithm 1, I am using algorithm 2, I am combining it. Okay, now it is a hybrid algorithm. That algorithm is mine. Okay, as long as I am talking about the output like algorithm 1 plus algorithm 2 is equal to new algorithm. Now I am saying this new algorithm is mine because it took me a lot of research that how to combine two thoughts in order to get, so like you are getting two thoughts, you are combining them, and surely you will get a third thought, new one. That will be your own thought. Okay, as long as you are referring in your paper the new thought, you did not give the citation. But since you are using the thought 1 and the thought 2, so there wherever you are mentioning thought 1 and 2, you have to give a proper citation. Okay, and the outcome of that thought 1 and thought 2 will be a new thought. That will be your own. You can claim that this is mine.
Okay, sir. So in the single statement which I have constructed, I have to place both author references there. Okay, sir.
Wherever their thought is coming, there itself you can give the citation.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, one more thing, sir. You have told us for the SEO tool. If we want, we can go
SEO,
for that
yes,
also. But they can also take our
at the basic stage.
Yes, sir. Sir, they will take the repository.
Yeah, that is correct. Your point is that no, it won't be there. But your point is valid in a sense that For example, if I am running that SEO tool, when you are submitting to my, so if it is a very sensitive work, okay, then you should restrain. You should not send it there. Okay, it won't be in their repository. Okay, they won't keep junk in their repository. They have to remove it because online thousands of people might be checking. Okay, so they'll be removing it immediately.
Okay, okay, right, sir, right, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for all the
Copying from
clarifications.
one paper or two paper is not a research, it's a plagiarism. Okay, reading 50 papers, 40 papers, 30 papers and giving a new thought is a research.
Sir, one more thing I have observed, sir, when I write any paper, new paper, sir. So most of the concept, because my
Okay.
field is same, my area is same, almost topic will uses the similar tools or techniques. So most of the time, I get the repetitive concept or repetitive words, which I have already used in my previous article, sir. Although I
Okay.
remove them, but when I draft
Hmm.
my manuscript, at least for first or second time, it seems repetitive sometimes, sir, for the general concepts, sir.
Okay. See, what you can do, you can reduce the length of your manuscript. There are
Okay, sir.
two ways
Okay.
how you can, when we talk about the plagiarism, there are two ways when we can reduce the plagiarism. One way, if for example, one sentence, full sentence is showing the plagiarism, all are red, okay, all are highlighted. What you can do is rewrite the sentence. Okay, you can rewrite the sentence. There's a tool, Quillbot is there, Quillbot. You can go there, or you yourself can rewrite, keeping the meaning and other things same. Okay, you can read and giving citations and references also. Okay, that is one thing. Another thing of reducing the plagiarism is, for example, if your manuscript is 6 pages, okay, add one more page, new page, you write your own. Okay, there are chances the words which you will be using, that won't be coming into the similarity report. I told you similarity in Turnitin is generated. I have shown you the number of words are over there. Okay, it is the number of similar words divided by the total number of words. Okay, when you increase the denominator, okay, your similarity will be reduced. So two ways there, either you edit the paragraph or you add a new paragraph, which is your own. If it won't comes under similarity, then your similarity will be reduced.
Okay, sir. Okay, okay. I will do it, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Doctor. Doctor, maybe you can put your email in the chat box so that the other participants also can ask questions if they need it.
Ma'am, my chat box is not working here. Yes. 1 second, ma'am. 1 second. That AMIR 045.
Okay,
It
Doctor.
was not working now.
Thank you, Doctor,
One
for
second.
your sharing.
One
So
second.
if you can't miss, you can tell me. I can type in chat box, Doctor.
It's wrong, ma'am. 1 second. 1 second. Just a moment.
Okay.
It is ZA.
Is that the correct one, Dr. Zami? Okay.
Correct one.
Thank you,
Yes,
Dr.
that
Zami.
AMIR 045.
Okay. We
Thank
learned
you,
a
ma'am.
lot
Thank you.
of things about the plagiarism in your session, and then I think it's very informative. Okay, without